She's up there now. You for a shame.
What?
Let's see a roll call. Are you here? See
Oh, are you talking to me?
you. Yes.
Okay, you guys, you cut out like right after, Andy, so I didn't hear.
Yes, Ms. Keel,
Okay, here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Mr. Murdoch,
Here.
Ms. Frazza,
Here.
and Ms. Silver.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Do we, going to item B, do we have comments from the floor by the public?
None at this time, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, I have a consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? Motion. I have a motion by Mayor Sheedy. Do I have a second? I have a second by Ms. Silver. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we are on our main item of business today, appointment of an interim president CEO. And just wanted to kind of talk about how I want to do this today. I want to call on each board member because I want everyone to have a chance to give us some input. Looking for what are you looking for in an interim? What is important to you as we fill this spot today? So what your priorities are. If you want to go with a single person, or if you're looking at two or multiple, and if so, kind of, why that would be important to you. And then who you support. And I really ask that if you've got someone that you support, that you only give positives of why, the positive reasons why you support that person. And I really don't want anyone comparing to why you're not choosing someone. I think we need to keep it, I think it would be a better process in telling us what your positives are for the person you support and not, I'm not supporting someone because of this. Yes, Ms. President.
Madam Chair, can I just ask one question,
Sure.
procedural question, because I see everyone is listed for consideration, the VPs.
Correct.
So that would be my first question. Are all of them interested? Before we have this discussion, and I just be helpful to know if everyone on this list is actually interested in being there.
And actually, after our last meeting, when Mr. Chapman threw out all the names of every VP, I made phone calls individually, and actually, Ms. Yeager was out of town, but sent a letter. So I have conferred with all four to make sure and to give them the opportunity. Your name was thrown out there. If you want it pulled off, let me know. And no one asked to remove their name from the list. So, and that is important. We want to, like you volunteer for something, and if you're not there, you get it. So we don't want to be doing that. So really the focus today, looking for consensus. And as we go around, we might see one automatically and we might not. Consensus is what we're trying to build as a board as we move forward to fill this position. The interim position, unlike what we're going to be looking for in our next CEO, the interim position, I'm really looking for, and I talked to Mr. Kennedy, and I know he's been in consult with, with Molly, that what responsibilities we're looking for. So really it's focusing on day-to-day operations. We're not looking at major policy, budget, or staffing decisions. We've talked at length. I think the budget is set. We have our strategic plan. So the plan moving forward is already there. So where we're stepping into this is stepping into operating on a daily basis, the day-to-day business of the RSCVA. Any bigger decisions, should they come up? I mean, we never know what will come up. We come back to the board through me as chair, and we bring it back to the board. So with that, I think I'm going to start over here with Mr. Murdoch. If you could share what your thoughts are, and if you have someone you support right now, and if when I call on you, if you don't, but you just want to tell what you're looking for and kind of see where the conversation goes, that's okay too. So just what your thoughts are
Yeah,
in moving
a
forward.
couple thoughts here.
Uh-huh.
One is, RSCVA is technically an advertising. Our region, they're an advertising, I look at them as an advertising company and I look at them as a heads and beds company. I like to simplify it. It's just like airport. Their job is to make sure we get in and out of here, heads and butts and seats. So this is the heads and beds commercial. But I think our core and then what drives the advertising and what drives the heads and beds is obviously big conventions or special events. So I think it's imperative that we keep that simple and I like the idea, and I said this last time. I know how this job is a pretty big job. I like that you as chair had ability to approve any checks or anything that has to be done in the day-to-day operation. I'm okay with that. That's great. But of the 4 VPs, I think you need to have one person, female, male, doesn't matter, to run this place. And I think what we need now in the interim before we get into hiring whatever we do with whether we hire an agency to find somebody or we do it, I think you need a veteran. And I like Mike Largetta because he's been around, he's been in all the circles, he's been to Vegas, he's been to an island to sell, he's been to I just think he knows enough about, as being a veteran around this region, he knows the ins and outs. And nothing against anybody else on that team, because I think they're all wonderful. I really do. I think they're all quality. I just think you need one voice, one person. They all get along. So that would be my vote.
Okay, thank you for your input. Ms. Frost?
Yeah, and similar to Mr. Murdoch, I think I expressed it last meeting. I think it's important to have oversight by our chair. So certainly support the motion for signing authority and everything else. I do think Mr. Largetta, and for a lot of the reasons that Mr. Murdoch stated, I think he's well versed in several different facets. I think his experience too, working with gaming, working on an island, sales and marketing, Vegas. And I love all the staff here as well. I think there was a very talented staff and they've been through the trenches, and so I'll keep it short. I support Mr. Largetta for the role.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna go Steve. Oh, God, no. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think Ben would be kicking in.
Right.
So I just saw her face when I'm on Ollie. I'm gonna go to Mr. Squaga and Mayor Sheedy, then I'm gonna go to our 2 members on Zoom, and then I'm gonna come around the corner here. If that's okay with everybody. Mr.
I'll
Squaga.
try to be brief too. I just want to open up, I could go with any one of these 5 names. Honestly, I think if, and I definitely like to see it more unanimous, whoever we end up choosing. I feel good with all of the staff members. I think they all have their different strengths and weaknesses, and I shouldn't say weakness, but you know what I mean. We all have our stronger points. I'll give it a little different of an approach, and I don't disagree with all the qualities of Mr. Largetta on the sales side, and I would probably, I'm gonna lean towards Ms. Yeager, coming at it from a finance, big picture, numbers, room tax collection, kind of understanding the full dashboard of the operations. I think working hand in hand with our chair on whether it's a weekly or more than that basis. I'm gonna lean towards that, but I can see the qualities on each person, and we'll go from there. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Mayor Sheedy.
all right, so here's the deal. I think we're lucky because we get all of them. This is so awkward, just so everyone knows, I can feel like this in the air, and I always call the elephant out in the room, but it's very, very awkward. And I would say this, all of you guys are so talented. I'm super lucky because I've known all of you for many, many years. Trent, I've known you guys since I was, I don't know, 10, right? And here's the good news is that all of them are stellar VPs. They all know their jobs. They all know what they need to get done. So they don't need to be micromanaged. They don't need to be, there's no issues. They're it's one of the reasons why I think Charles kept the team in place and did a really good job with knowing talent. And so, like, I was really truly leaning like everyone should just manage their departments because you know what you're doing, right? Now, with that being said, I do think if there are things that happen, you do need one sort of consolidated voice. And if there are HR issues, that could be problematic. I totally understand why, you think finance would be important. That makes a lot of sense, but also facilities make a lot of sense to me as well. And then marketing makes a lot of sense when Rick brings up, this is a big marketing arm. And then obviously sales, and sales drives a lot of the business. I would say this, I think you guys all get along really, really well. And I don't think that you need babysitters. And so I'm not worried. I would just say this from a standpoint of one particular person. I would say Larry Getta, from what I've seen in the last year, he did the biggest contracts that we have. So Charles felt comfortable in delegating some pretty hefty responsibilities. I think, he's done that across the board, but the biggest ones we've had from, the bowling contracts, conference of mayors, the food contract, put all those together. And then I would say, I'm going to assume you probably have the most direct reports underneath you, Mr. Larigetta. I don't know, but I'm gonna assume that. But at the end of the day, I think that everyone, they don't need someone micromanaging them or managing their departments, but one person to come back to the board, report, and, just make sure that everyone's on the same page. So that's where I'm leaning, but all of them I would be fine with any of them, like you said. Perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you. Shannon?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know that we were gonna necessarily go down around the room and like submit our quote unquote vote or whatever, but happy to give my comments. I know that I want to make sure just, whoever it is actually wants to do it. I know none of them raised their hand to pull their name off because nobody wants to look like, I don't want that job, that kind of thing. But at the same time, I want to make sure that whoever it is actually does want to do it and does want to step up in the interim. I also want to make sure that the executive team supports that individual. We haven't been able to hear from them. And if any of them are comfortable speaking today, I would like to hear their thoughts. If they're not, that's fine. I just want to make sure that they are honest and give their opinion to the chair, even if it's privately. And then my biggest thing is I just want to make sure in the interim that there is no, that if there is any possible conflict of interest with the specific positions, that oversight from the chair is really looked into. Not that I think anybody would do anything wrong, but certainly we want to just keep it as tight as possible as far as the conflict of interest with goals and pay and contracts and all that other kind of stuff. I think that Mike's tenure in the organization and his broad scope of responsibility with it being a sales organization definitely brings a lot to the table. But there could be more conflict of interest with his area than with something like finance, where it's a little bit more kind of cut and dry as far as overseeing the numbers. So I would be okay with Courtney or Mike, but again, it would be nice to know if they're comfortable speaking, what if they have any, like, do they want to do it and do they support each other in that?
Okay, thank you, Shannon. Andy?
Great. Hello, all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, I'm calling from beautiful Boise Airport, so we got to get that nonstop direct flight back because it was an early roundabout way to get to Boise this morning. But regardless, thanks for the time. So I had an opportunity to reach out to all the 4 VPs, and I thank you for those conversations. It was great to connect in this regard. I'm going to take a little bit of a different tact on this, and I like a co-interim kind of relationship. where and I understand the difficulties in having 4 people, and I agree with Mayor Sheedy that they all could do their own job and really manage their own departments, and I have no concern at all on any of that. But I understand having, 4 people at the helm might be somewhat difficult. So I kind of like the idea of a co-relationship or a co-internship interim with finance and sales kind of working together. So with Courtney and Mike, because then you kind of got I don't want to call it a checks and balances, but you have an opportunity to have a financial review, but as well as kind of pushing forward on the sales side. So again, that still might be difficult. I will throw that out there. Again, I believe anybody could do this, and I appreciate everybody's effort, but perhaps a relationship, if that doesn't work, either one of those two would have my support.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Ms. Silver.
Yeah, I'll keep this short. I think it's really important that it be one individual who is held accountable. And I would place Mike Largatta's name in play for the reasons of continuity and accountability. And having spoken with Mike, I feel very comfortable. I also did not take the time to speak to others, but I think it would be very uncomfortable for us to pit anyone against anybody. So I think we should make this short and sweet.
Yeah.
And I cast my vote for Mike.
Thank you.
Okay.
I feel like we're in Hunger
Commissioner
Games,
Hill.
and it's not, this is like Hunger Games. And it's
Well,
super-
and I do want to hear
It's
from
super
everybody.
uncomfortable.
It is,
I'm
but
sorry,
I
but it is.
but I appreciate
Oh,
everyone being
Like, who
brief.
does that?
And
You
I-
just like throw a motion, you move on. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm so sorry.
Can we hear from everybody first?
Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
Warnings were thrown out, nobody pulled them off. This was the best process that we're trying to get done, but I do need to hear from all our board members. And I haven't heard from Commissioner. Hill.
So I'm the last one, right? To
Yes,
speak.
other than me.
And then do we have to do public comment on this?
We can, well, we don't, I mean, we're agendized to do anything at the end of the meeting, but if there's
Oh, okay.
public comment, we'll never do that.
Can I just make the motion for Mr. Larangetta right now, since I'm the last one? Is that okay? Or I'm not the last one, I'm sorry, the chair is,
Mhm.
so that's where I stand.
Okay. So you're the last one other than me to comment, and just to add my thoughts to the situation, I would agree. Yeah, it's an awkward situation. In the past, when you guys have had interims, it was an easy, like, who was supposed to fill that? This is not a situation where we had, someone who was working right under our CEO that just stepped in, which was much easier than trying to decide. And I think I appreciate the fact that we didn't want to go outside. I think that would be far more complex to bring an interim in from outside. All of these VPs know their departments. They know what to do. And just so you all know, and in my conversations with all of them, I've been pretty honest and open with them. I will be there working with them along the way. I've already told them I will meet weekly. The CEO meetings that were weekly, I plan on meeting with the executive staff. And then I had a great suggestion from Christina that I really like of opening one meeting a month to the next layer of managers to bring in Ben McDonald and Art and Renee and some of that next layer to really get communications and cooperation and teamwork together. And so I will weekly be doing that as chair, and then whoever it is would be reporting to me and to the board, with me being the representative of the board and me bringing to you anything that we need to be doing. So just so that you know kind of how this will work moving forward, I am prepared to take a motion, Ms. Hill.
Okay, I propose that we have Mr. Larangetta as our chair, or as our interim.
Interim CEO, okay, looking for a
I'll
second.
that motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Hill and a second from Ms. Silver. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. And I will be in touch with you, Mr. Larangetta. Moving forward to item E, board member announcements, reports and updates. Any announcements, updates, or reports? Ms. Murdoch?
Madam Chair, could I comment after the vote?
Sure.
I think too, what would be nice is is I like what you just said about you'll be here and you're meeting with the team. Be nice for, the team to bring in, the gentleman, the bowling man to come in and give us an update as a community, and to bring in some of Mike's got some big players in the field out in DC, or it'd be nice to hear from them once in a while, just so we know as a board how the system works. I know we hear from you guys are great, but I know you've got some great people because you see them all the time. So, I really like the bowling update. I'd like to know what the convention, we got a person in DC, you got a person in Sacramento, it'd be nice just to get an update on what they're working, what the future looks like, how's the economy, what are they hearing? Just gives us a view for. And I'm not saying do it all at once because it's expensive, but when they're in town or that we schedule them if we have a board meeting. That's all I'm asking.
Okay, so are you looking on the bowling since we have had,
Yeah.
he has come in once, but maybe what would be a really good idea is to bring him in after the tournament closes, and we can get kind of, how did we do? How is the success of, and how we moving forward? It might be nice after we finish up in July to maybe look at August and September. Would that be
Yeah,
agreeable?
and one of the critical things is, with him, it's the bowlers are here. We already got them. I like to hear what we're doing around the other seasons. I want to know about the future buys and the future sales of the convention center, and the REC, the bowling state, all our assets. I just like, just to know, and we'll take it back to our folks so they know, and just be informational, but it's good for you because you're there and you'll be meeting with the team and get a good feel for where the tourism is going.
Okay, perfect.
And sales.
Any other board announcements? Oh, go ahead.
I just want to thank, everyone on the board. It's, my last meeting, and just want to thank all the board members. And I know there's, been some, debate on this board, and interestingly enough, Charles, I brought in some of my binders to recycle, and there's some interesting history in here that you put as part of the binder, and just going through it. The deadlock ends. I mean, grand jury investigations. It's very interesting to go even back to the 50s regarding the convention center, and it's as some of the issues with the tourism board. So I just want to thank everyone here though, and I do want to thank the last vote. I know it was pretty passionate last meeting, but I'm really happy it was unanimous, and congratulations to Mr. Larragetta, and just wish the board all the future success in the world on picking the new CEO, and thank you everyone for appreciate serving with all of you.
Thank you. Ms. Silver?
Madam Chair, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank everyone.
It's your
as
last
well.
meeting
I
too.
know, it's my last meeting too.
But you'll be next door.
Yeah, I'm right next door, and it was an honor to serve, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Keel, did you have anything to say since we're doing our goodbyes right now?
Yeah, I don't need to say goodbye because I'm going to be talking to everybody on the call and in this room constantly. I'm confident of it. Larragatta's smiling because he knows that we'll be chatting, and there's just, it's not goodbye. So even though I won't be sitting officially in that room around that table on the record, definitely we'll be working together closely every single month in the future.
Thank you. And I would like to thank his chair of this board, these three amazing women who have contributed so much, coming in from each of the different organizations that put them on this board, and those voices are super important. So thank you for your time, your energy, commitment to this organization, and feel really positive as we move forward. Would also like to extend my thanks to our CEO, who is on Zoom today, because he has 1 week, and I'm sure he's counting until he is gone. And I just want to thank you for your leadership, for everything that you've taught me. I didn't know what DMO stood for when I walked onto this board, and I learned pretty quickly, and really the passion you bring to this, you brought to this organization, the organizational things that happened, and really your intensity, because it's something you're passionate about, and I appreciate that. And I said this before, but I believe that you've left the RSCVA in a better place than we were 2.5, almost 3 years ago. And wish you and your wife all the luck in whatever your future endeavors are. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlene.
Okay. Any other updates? Okay, seeing none, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Squaggin. No, you did lean forward.
Covered it all. Covered it all.
You sure? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, can I say one thing? It'd be nice to just hear from Mr. Larragetta just after this vote.
Okay. We can do that. We can do that, Mr. Larragetta.
Good morning, everybody. Mike Larragetta for the record. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I just wanted to thank the board for the support and the confidence in selecting me to lead this organization during the transition as we search for our new president and CEO. I obviously look very much forward to working with the entire board, Chairwoman Bybee, the entire RSCVA staff, specifically the leadership team. We've got a great team, and as we move into this next fiscal year, we're going to do some great things. So thank you again. Appreciate your support.
Thank you. And thank you, Jessica, for bringing that up. Good idea. Okay.
So can I just make a comment
Yes, you can.
for future, as we move forward in the future? First of all, we are super fortunate. All of them are so talented. You guys are amazing. I have had the honor to work closely with each and every one of you, and also a personal connection. So I just think that we're fortunate. We're in good hands. I apologize. I didn't want it to be uncomfortable. And so I hope that there are no hard feelings, but I'm confident that as we move forward with this board, what I would love to see, because you guys are experts in what you do, that every meeting that we hear from them, they have a voice, they feel comfortable enough speaking up and really saying what you need from us and what would really help you. I need to hear more of your voices because it matters, and you guys are the experts. I definitely would never be able to do Courtney's job or Trent's job. Oh my gosh, it would be so difficult. So it's really, really important what you feel, what you're seeing, to please come to the board and have a voice. And then I would just say, moving forward, I don't know why, but and I think it's probably just the room setup, but Art Jimenez needs to be at the table. He's always been at the table since day one, since he came to this organization, and should be a VP. I don't know why that is, but I gotta just tell you, one of the best of the best. So as we move forward, needs to have a seat at the table.
Mr. Squaggin. Did you have anything?
No.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I thought I missed you. Okay, I'm gonna close item E, moving to item F, comments from the floor by the public.
None of this time, thank you.
Okay, we are adjourned then. Thank you all. Have a great